All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoops' company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com. Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show. All right, we're back and we're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. And as I look into the chat, the first thing that catches me is the bills are in, and Bill, Ohio Relic Hunter, says that we need a Detectors snowsuit. I don't know if I want to go that far quite yet. I'm hoping that it warms up here. I'm still using the Detectors hoodie. Don't need the snowsuit. I did see, though, Bill was first into the chat. Once again, he's using that in-studio cam. Jim's in, Paul's in. Ken, looks like we've got Jason, the Bills, quite a few of them dropping in. So we've got Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Looks like they're coming in from all across the country. Nice to see. Nice to see. And who knows, maybe Darth and Buddy's even tuning in tonight down there with Ken. So, first and foremost, in the description, we've got the links tonight. Our friends over at Shooters and Prospectors, Chuck Smalley, the man with the plan, the dealer of choice that we like to plug here on the show. We've got the link for Detectees. Welcome to Stan. Ken and Mark, Darth and Buddy, they're doing a great job with the shirts and hoodies. Speaking of which, like we've been saying, a portion of every Beyond Sight and Sound, a piece of apparel, shirt, History Seekers as well, a portion of that goes to an MS charity, and March is MS Awareness Month. The other day, Detectees was very proud to say that they were able to donate $250 to the Multiple Sclerosis Association of America. So kudos to them. Thanks to everyone else for all of their support as well. We had some other people that had donated through the fundraiser as well. Very cool to see. We've also got the link for our friends over at Extreme Scoops. If you're looking for a scoop, our featured group, Dirt Pirates Detecting, and also the links for our friends over at XP Team USA, their Facebook group, podcast, website. Check out their podcast every other Friday right here on Spreaker. And I think that there's still time that you can get yourself entered into the coil giveaway. Go back, check out their latest episode. All we ask is that you follow the instructions. The head pirate herself, Barb's, into the chat as well. Welcome aboard there, Captain. And the very last link in the description is the link to Rhode Island Relics. You'll notice the image on the show tonight is also the profile picture, so it's very, very easy to find. Just click the link in the description, or even just search for it on Facebook, and you'll find it that way. Easy as well. Very simple. Fred's in from New Jersey as well, too. He made some nice finds today. Unfortunately, it cost him the lower shaft of his dais, so ouch. That sucks.
Yep.
Hopefully you can get that replaced, though, soon, Fred. Definitely. But, no worries. He went back home and grabbed the CTX and back at it and made some nice finds while he was there, so definitely cool to see. So obviously, they've all seen the promo. They've seen the link dropped all over Facebook today. We've got Nathan Matthews on with us tonight from Rhode Island Relics to talk to us about the event known as Pound the Ground 2, I guess. This is the second annual year.
2. Yeah.
So how's it going, Nathan?
It's fantastic. How are you?
All right, not too bad. What's the weather like out there?
Today is like mid-30s, but yesterday was in the 60s, so it's looking like April's going to be a beautiful month for some detecting.
Right, yeah. You
That's what we're hoping for.
You definitely had better weather than us yesterday then. We're in a little bit of a cool down again. We won't see decent weather until maybe the weekend, maybe beginning of next week, something like that, and then we'll be able to get back out. But man, out here in Ohio, some of us have finally started getting out again, and it sure was good to be out again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I finally can get out. The weather was beautiful the other day. I mean, I just wasn't available to metal detect. I was at work, so tomorrow should be nice, and I'm definitely planning on metal detecting all day, as much as I can.
Nice. Very nice. So, how long have you actually been wrapped up in all of this yourself? I mean, what prompted you to get involved in the hobby and get started with metal detecting? How did that all start for you? What did you start with?
Well, actually, what I started with was bottle digging. My good friend Jeff Muthersbaugh started introducing me to bottle dumps, and I don't know, it was just this immediate connection to finding anything in the ground that was old, and I could, discover the history from there. And then sort of after that, my brain just realized there was other treasure in the ground, and it wasn't just glass bottles, that there were amazing things in the ground that I could actually put a date on. And I don't know, it was just that feeling of like digging something up that was 300 years old in America. That's fantastic for us. Outside in the UK, they think it's laughable because,
right.
they're pulling stuff up from 400 AD. But over here to us, like the history dating back, a few hundred years or whatever, just the idea that somebody dropped a Rosa Americana, they dropped that Rosa Americana and I picked it up. I was the next person to find it. That little piece of history will stay with me forever. So it just became an obsession overnight, and it's been, I want to say 6 years since I started detecting, which isn't very long, but I have been so lucky. I've been the luckiest detectorist of all time. I mean, I've pulled so many amazing bucket listers. I got an 1867 $3 gold coin in Woodstock, Connecticut. That was in just my first couple years of detecting, and that coin has been minted 2,550 times. Like, I feel like the luckiest person ever. So I don't know, it's those moments you live for, and that's why I love detecting so much, because you never know what it is you're going to pull out of the ground. You never know. You come across a 41st French Regiment button, and you're like, what? Like, how did I find this? Somebody dropped this. And, it's just amazing. The feeling is amazing, and nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. And it's hard to explain to my friends and family that aren't into metal detecting. But once you're there, man, that's it. It's game over. It's an obsession. It's no longer a hobby.
Right, you're kind of hooked, and you try to explain it to someone who just doesn't get it in 30 seconds, and their eyes glaze over. And so bottle digging was kind of like the gateway drug for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was, first I'm looking for these cobalt blue bottles and looking for all sorts of different colored bottles. I didn't even know what I was looking for, and then coming across, poison bottles and things like that, and you're like, oh my God, like, this history is amazing. And my buddy said to me, well, I metal detect too. Do you want to try metal detecting? And I said, sure. So first day was game over. That was it. As soon as I started doing it, I realized I was going to do it forever. I love it so much. So
what machine were you using that first day?
That first day, I used the Bounty Hunter. Everyone uses the Bounty Hunter the first time.
Right. Yeah, it does seem that way. What did you find that kind of hooked you that day?
My first big find was a barber quarter. I got a barber quarter, and so I was like, oh my God, I'm spoiled rotten. I love what this is. Like, I didn't even know. I didn't know the first thing about coins. I knew nothing about it whatsoever, but I was like, this is history. There's a date on it. I can read it. I love it. And that was it. I just was obsessed. And then I upgraded to the Ace 400, and that brought me so many amazing finds, but also I was doing it every single day. Every single second I had a chance to metal detect, I was just, once I was in it, I was in it. And then after the Ace 400, the AT Pro, after the AT Pro, I upgraded to the CTX 3030. And that just happened and now I don't know, I've had 4 CTX 3030s at this point. With MS, sometimes you're like, oh, this is not possible for me to do anymore. So I sold one. Then I bought another one. Then I sold one. Then I bought another one. I'm on my 4th CTX 3030 now, and I'm never going to get rid of it. So
you just keep coming back to that CTX.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's my go-to machine forever.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had quite a bit of experience with one myself. Definitely a good machine. MineLab really put it out of the park with that machine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think with the new Equinox series, obviously everyone knows. I mean, the machine is like legitimately. So I'm a MineLab dealer as well. Legitimately, I was told the other day the machine is sold out. It's on back order. I'm like, oh my God, it's a machine. It's not like a coil. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the
people
machine
can't keep them on the shelves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I know.
And they're finding that with the coils as well.
Yeah. That 6-inch coil, 15-inch coil. I mean, they're just incredible. I really, my good friend David Pratt, he's in Rhode Island Relics. He's one of our members from the beginning. I've gone out detecting with him with my CTX 3030, and he'll find the silver on its side, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the CTX is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to give you a little chirp. It's not going to give you what the the Equinox picks up. Like, I don't know how, but you know, we were at this farm together. We went over this hole. He was like, go over this and tell me what you get. And I got a tiny little blip. Like, I'll be very honest, I got a tiny little blip. He got a perfect 28 over and over and over again. Pulled it. It was a Spanish 2 on the side.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, yeah. So, I mean, the Equinox does do some amazing stuff. I'm not going to miss anything with my CTX because I hear it. You know what I mean? You're so used to the sound.
Exactly.
You hear it.
Exactly.
So,
and I mean, the CTX, it is a great machine. It's a fast machine, but the Equinox has been very surprising on its ability to unmask. I think a lot of that is attributed to its speed.
Yeah, that speed is insane because I'll be on a cornfield with David. We'll be walking, you know, an area we've covered a million times, and I'm going super slow. And I'm just trying to make sure that I can hear every tiny little thing. He's running through the corn stalks, you know what I mean? And he's picking up amazing signals. I mean, the guy pulled, I want to say like 20 half dimes in like no time. I'm like, I don't know how this guy's doing it. And the truth is, it's just the speed. You know, ultimately it's the speed. The CTX is fantastic, and it will not miss anything, but you do got to slow down a little bit with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But then again, this is a hobby where slow and methodical can be a good thing.
Right, especially for people with MS.
Right.
I'm going as slow as possible.
Yeah, I can definitely feel you there. You know, it slowed me down quite a bit myself, and it's like, well, that's okay, you know, because it'll make me a more thorough hunter because I'm not moving real fast. I'm not in a rush to get to the other side of the field. I'm just taking my time.
Right. Well, recently I was on a field that everyone has metal detected over and over and over again. And that day I was dealing with my MS symptoms, and I was going real slow. And I dug a Morgan dollar at like 12 to 14 inches or something like that. Beautiful Morgan dollar. Beautiful, which I'm donating, by the way, to Pound the Ground.
Nice.
Yeah. So, you know, it just sometimes going slow is the best. You don't have to rush around the field. You don't feel super tired from, you know, walking around all day. You just go nice and slow and just pick what you can get, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I would have to agree. Definitely. It is a good machine. I mean, up until, well, probably until, you know, Nocta Macro had came out with a couple, and MindLab had come out with the Equinox. The Deus was one of the fastest processing units out there.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I mean, I still think the Deus is a great machine. That machine is insane. Everyone swears by it. The thing with me is, it is a complicated machine. For me, I like the push and go. I'm a lazy dude. I want the push and go, and with the CTX 3030, all I do is I go out 0 to scrim. You know what I mean? I got the volume all the way up, 0 to scrim, and that's it. You know, that's all I want. With the XP, you got a lot of different things you got to work with, and it's too complicated for me. But it's very lightweight. And it should be, you know, a machine I would use. But truth is, I don't know. I love the CTX. I love it. I can't do anything about it. It's my favorite machine. I'll never not want to be with it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I know from experience, the CTX really loves the silver. It's good at unmasking, and it's great at jewelry if you utilize it. Yes. And that's kind of what I found with the Deus is that thing. It loves jewelry. I found so many rings last summer with the Deus. It was just insane.
I think that if I sat down and I really learned how to use the XP, I wouldn't be so frightened by it. You know what I mean? But at the same rate, There's nothing I want to go to other than you have your machine. Your machine is your machine. When I go out, I want my CTX 3030. I've had the Equinox 800 with me and my CTX 3030, and I'm just like, I want my CTX. That's just the machine I'm used to. It's what I'm comfortable with, and that's why I keep using it.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times it's a tough step for people to get out of their comfort zone with machines, and when you know a machine very well, like you do with the CTX, it's hard to put that down because it's what you know. You want to go with it. Right. That's what's going to bring in the goodies for you.
Right, and then the learning curve of taking the CTX 3030 on, you go through the learning curve. Once you're through that learning curve, I don't want to go through another learning curve. I love my machine. I don't feel like going through that process of having to figure out a machine and not knowing exactly what it's going to do for me. So with the CTX, I know it enough that I'm comfortable and I never worry about what signals I'm going to dig. But ultimately, we can talk about machines all day and which machine is the most amazing machine and whatnot. Truth is, you might as well just dig every single signal. Because you have no clue what it's going to be. So when I'm out in the middle of the woods somewhere, I get a signal. I don't care if it sounds like it's going to be a shotgun shell. I'm going to dig it anyways. I don't care if it sounds like aluminum. I'm going to dig it because I've had so much experience with finding amazing things that were supposed to be shotgun shells. you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we like to tell them on the show is that people that, the screens are nice for extra reference, extra information. Yeah. But audio wins over VDI every time.
Absolutely.
And if you're putting too much faith in the numbers, you're missing good targets.
Right. I mean, when I dug, I just, I want to say a couple of months ago or something, I dug this beautiful 22 karat gold, ring with a ruby in it, absolutely beautiful ring, and that rang up as a 509 on my machine. Never have I thought a 509 was going to be something worthwhile. But I went back to this area where I had found 11 wheat pennies, and I thought to myself, well, if near the wheat pennies I can find a V nickel or I can find a buffalo or something, I'll be fine with that, just because the area might not be hunted out. And I went back, I got a 509, and I dug this beautiful 22 karat gold ring with a ruby in it. And I'm like, now I realize it's so smart to just continue to dig every signal that is repeatable. Like, just dig it. You'll know if you come across a 3445 that it's going to be a nail or it's going to be iron or whatever it's going to be. So I guess you can skip some of those targets if that's the kind of hunter you are. But for me, I'll still dig everything. I love it. I don't even care what it is. If it's a horseshoe, I want it. If it's an oxid shoe, I want it. I want it all,
Yeah, it's like a smorgasbord. I'll take one of everything.
Right.
I know a few years back with the CTX, I had wound up, I ran across a nice, it was actually an opal and diamond ring.
Ooh, nice.
That when I had posted that up, people were like, wow, what sort of a signal did that give you? And I'm telling them, oh, it was low. It was like an 0812. What are you doing digging targets in that range? I said, are you kidding me? I love digging targets in those ranges. Don't pay attention to the numbers.
Why not? I would dig that all day. That sounds like the most fantastic signal ever.
Right, yeah. I mean, and granted, those of us that are out there doing that, sure, we're going to dig our fair share of trash, and I couldn't even tell you how many pull tabs I dig. But when you hit those nice ones, like that gold and ruby ring you hit, it makes all the pull tabs worthwhile.
Exactly. And when I went out that day, I specifically said to myself, I'm going to dig every signal that comes up. I'm just going to dig them because I don't know what it's going to be, and I don't feel like missing out on things. So I dug a bunch of shotgun shells. I dug a bunch of crap, a bunch of trash. And then I came across this beautiful 22 karat gold ruby ring, and I'm like, what are you, like, what? You know? And now I don't question it at all. I'm like, I'm just going to keep digging every signal I can possibly dig, because you never know what it's going to be. And that's what it comes down to, is that everyone can talk about the machine, and everyone can say the machine is really what matters. And don't get me wrong. It is nice to have a good machine, you know, that's going to work for you, and it's going to give you the depth, and it's going to give you all the things that you're looking for. However, ultimately, just dig the signals. If they're there, dig them, because you don't know what it's going to be. That's it.
Right. I mean, they all work. They all pick up metal. Some of them do it a little better than others, or separate a little better than others. But, you know, the biggest thing is that the individual user, because I'm sure you've seen it before too. Somebody will get onto a group and, hey, I'm thinking about getting into the hobby. What machine should I get? Yeah. And people just automatically start throwing out names and models and stuff like that. Usually the ones that they are using themselves. And, you know, you got to ask questions. You got to find out what they're looking for, the type of hunting, their budget, their environment, and try to get them into a machine that ultimately works well for them.
Yeah. I'm not going to try to sell anybody on a CTX that hasn't metal detected before. You know what I mean? Like, it's a huge learning curve. And the thing is that a lot of people that get into the metal detecting world, they want the best of the best, and they want to be able to find treasure immediately. And I'm like, we've all got a learning curve. It's not just going to be something that happens immediately. You really got to learn the hobby, which will eventually become an obsession, and understand the sounds. Ultimately, I don't need to look at my LED screen on my CTX to know what I'm digging. I can hear it, you know?
Right.
0 to XTREME, I know what those signals sound like. 50 tones, I know what the signals sound like. I just get it because I've done it over and over and over and over again, and you just get used to it. It's such a comfortable, good feeling, you know?
And that's how people wind up making those finds and understanding their machine. It's all relevant to time spent in the field with the machine, real in-field experience, and that's how you learn.
Right. And the thing is that you're going to put more effort into doing it if you're continuously finding new and amazing things. Everything has to be, not everything has to be a Civil War button. Not everything has to be a gold ring. The reality is some of the coolest stuff you find may not have any real intrinsic value or whatever, but it has some major historical value. Just the idea beyond, like, the thinking, like, I'm at an old high school that was built in 1945, and you find something that relates to that time. To me, that's still amazing. I don't care. You know, I don't care if it's only 1944, 1945. That's history. Somebody at that time who was going through things like the World War, and they understood what was happening at that time. You're the next person to pick that up. You're the next person to be part of that history.
Yep,
so that's amazing.
You're the first person to touch it since the last person lost it, however long ago, and you're able to kind of step back into the past that way. And even though, like you said, say you're at a high school that was built in 1945 and you find something that's relevant to that time period, even though it may not be really cool or anything, or really valuable, you know, you're still going, hey, this is pretty cool. And it validates I'm right. This area, people were using it in 1945.
Right. And who are we? You know, we grow up in this world where, granted, there are great things happening. There are things happening throughout our existence, but I wasn't around for, the Holocaust and things of that nature. And if you think about that era, people were thinking differently. Everything was different at that time. So everything has this major historical significance. And I don't care if it's 1945, granted, don't get me wrong. I want to find a coin from the 1700s. Like I just recently found, a mass copper. I love mass coppers. The thing is beautiful detail. The reality is, sometimes it's just as cool to me to find a barber dime as it is to find a mass copper. I don't care. It just really is like it's all treasure. It's all historical and it's all wonderful to see. So I think that's why it's easy for me to donate all my stuff to Pound the Ground, because I already had that feeling. That feeling's done now. I've had it. I brought it into my house. Truth is, what am I going to do with it for the rest of my life? I couldn't sell it. I can't sell those things. I don't want to sell those things. But I do want to see someone else find them. And it's not going to be under the same circumstance, but it's still going to be – it's going to make somebody's day. I mean, I'll tell you right now, you find a $100 Barbados gold coin in the ground, your day is going to be pretty okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not seeing a downside there.
Yeah, no. Everyone
not at all.
tells me I'm crazy, though. Everyone says you're crazy for donating your collection. The truth is, I'm donating the coins from my collection. I'm not donating all my buttons. I'm not donating all my relics, things of that nature that really have a significant meaning to me. I have them all. But buffalo nickels, barber dimes, cap busts, seeded halves, all those things that I've dug. I don't need them. I don't need them. I want someone else to find them. But I'm never going to get rid of my 41st French Regiment button. I'm never getting rid of my Civil War Corps button, my artillery buttons. I'm not getting rid of those things. Those things matter to me,
Right. Well, and really in terms of like donating these items to your event, chances are good that people who recover them at the event are going to hold the respect for these items that they deserve. They're not just going to throw them into a vending machine or take them home and throw them in a pile or something. They're going to put them in their displays then. So the story gets to continue and they get to have the experience of finding it. Because some of these items, maybe the area that these people are coming from, they don't get the opportunity to do that kind of hunting.
Right. And for me, I just, I keep trying to tell people, everyone who said to me, Nathan, this is absolutely crazy. You can't do this. You cannot get rid of your collection. I try to explain to them, I'm not getting rid of it. The collection goes on. It just goes on with someone else. It's someone else's collection now, and it's going to stay that way. It doesn't affect me in the same way. I still have all the major things that have a major meaning to me. I can't get rid of. There's those things you just can't get rid of. I have those things in my special case, and I look at them and I love them. But my coins to me, and this sounds crazy to everyone who metal detects, my coins to me are not as significant. Well, because once I mark them off
Once you mark them off your bucket list, you're done probably. And I get it. Exactly. Some people are into the hobby and they're like, oh, well, the coins are fine, but I'm in it for the jewelry. Or, well, the jewelry's cool, but I'm in it for the buttons or the relics or, something of that nature. So I can certainly get that. So it's not like you're necessarily getting rid of the collection so much as you're relocating it.
Right, exactly. And for me, the relics are the reason that I got into metal detecting. I love the history behind it. Not that coins don't have history, but to me, what I see all the time is people are digging coins and they're selling coins. I don't want to be part of that. For me, yes, I have sold a couple coins in my time metal detecting, but I've never felt good about it. I never felt good about, getting rid of a coin I found. The truth is, though, I realize it's that aspect of it is more for financial purposes, and that's not really for me. For me, I want to find something that was part of the Civil War, that was part of the War of 1812. Those things matter to me because I'm like, oh my God, look at the significance of this, you know, just being able to capture that history and you hold it forever. You know, it's these things that people are not putting in museums. They don't have access to. You have access to, and you can donate them. For example, the Grand Army of the Republic Civil War medal I found. I donated that to the town in which I found it. I gave it back to them, and they put it up in their historical society. That's amazing to me because the truth is, what am I going to do with it? I'm going to put it in a display case that hangs in my house.
Right.
Nobody's
maybe show it to a few friends or something, but at least in the historical society, it's there where anybody can see it.
Right. And it belongs there because whoever lost it was living there, and that is their treasure. And granted, I found it. That's their treasure, and they should have it forever.
Nice. I like the train of thought there, definitely. And you're right. You know, you see people digging up coins, and sure, they're fun to find. We all find a lot of them, whether they're old coins or clad coins or whatever. But a lot of the times, too, for myself anyway, and I'm sure many of the people listening too, it's more interesting to me to, you know, you find an old button or a thimble. You know, these are more personalized items. You can connect with those a little more because you're thinking, what was the story behind this? What was this person doing when they lost this item? You know, what was going on around them? And you just, sometimes it leaves us with more questions than answers, but it's still fun to think about. Right.
My big thing, I've got to say, more than anything, I love coming across a bale seal. Bale seals to me are the most incredible things. Like you're part of it. You're part of the history at that point. You're like, oh my God, like this is what they were trading, and this is what they were utilizing at that time. And you're like, I'm part of it, you know. I have a original cognac bale seal, and I'm like, mother of God, this is history. Wow. Like that's the most amazing thing to me. I love that feeling. That and obviously buttons. You know, buttons are amazing, especially, you know, your early buttons. I'm still hoping for my GW, which I haven't found yet, but I'm hoping for it.
But you're in a good area for it.
Right. Yeah. I'm still, every day I go out detecting, I'm like, today's going to be the day. I'm going to get the GW button today. I don't have one yet, but I'm hoping. I still have things on my bucket list, but they're less coins and they're more buttons.
Right. So the GW's kind of your white whale then.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, that's it. You know, that's my major thing. I will say I have not had the benefit of pulling up a Nova Constellatio or a Fugio, which all these dudes around here from Connecticut are pulling them up on a regular basis. Right. I'm gonna say this. David Krasneski, he's got all of the Fugios. Like, I don't even know how many pulled up this year. He's got the Novas. I can't even compete. These guys they're finding cellar holes. Awesome Relics, New England, those guys. They're finding cellar holes all over the place and finding the most amazing stuff. And right now, my bucket list item is top of the list without question is a GW inaugural button. I need it. I want it.
And you're just kind of going, I just want one, guys. Give me one.
Right. I want one. I want a Fugio. I want a Nova Constellatio. I got the Rosa Americana. I was very, very happy with that. I've dug amazing Hibernias. I've got so much amazing stuff, but I never came across the Fugio, and I never came across the Nova Constellatio. And it's those days you go out in the middle of the woods and you're like, today's going to be the day. I'm going to get it today. It's going to happen. It hasn't happened.
But keep swinging your coil. It will sooner or later.
Right. And you know what? It'll become a bucket list find, and then I'll donate it next year to the Pound the Ground.
Well, and that's something too. I mean, you're in a great area to find these things. You've just got to get your coil over it. But you ever get something, you get a signal and you just, whatever it is that you pull up is a real curveball where you're like, how the heck did that wind up here?
Right. I've had plenty of those.
I'm up here in northwestern Ohio, and about 10 miles from me last spring, I got to see a Massachusetts copper come out of the ground. And I'm going, are you freaking kidding me? What were they doing for that to be here?
Right. I dug, last summer, I dug a Venezuelan coin. It's 28.25 grams of silver. Beautiful, huge, thick coin with like a cheetah on it, or a jaguar or something, and 28.25 grams of silver. Why is that coin here? Like, how did that end up here? It's just amazing.
Right.
Also donated to Pound the Ground, by the way.
Whoever lost that one was walking lighter after they dropped it. Wow.
Certainly. It's huge. It's huge.
That had to have been a screaming signal.
Oh my God, it was such a screaming signal. It was such a great signal.
Was it very deep for you?
It wasn't that deep, actually. I think it was like 4 inches down. It was an old campground. I got permission for a campground in Gloucester, Rhode Island, and I found a couple walkers there and some other cool silvers and whatnot, but this was the rarest, strangest thing ever. I was like, this is a massive, massive coin.
Right. How do you lose something like this?
Right. How do you lose it? Exactly. So heavy. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to somebody finding it this year. I can't wait to see who finds it. There are certain things that are going in the ground that I really can't wait to see people find. There are just, certain things that mean something to me. I remember every find ever. I know them all. I don't forget them all. I know. I mean, granted, you come up some wheat pennies, I'll probably forget about some wheat pennies. I'll probably forget about some buffaloes. However, some of the major finds that I've brought in over the years, I certainly will know all about them, and I can't wait to see people find them. There's some stuff in there, my first cap bust half, somebody's going to find that. And that's going to be an amazing feeling for them. And for me, it's going to be amazing to see somebody uncover it. So,
right. Not to mention, if when they find it, they're getting the thrill of the experience and everything, but you're able to be kind of nostalgic about it too, because you'll remember when you found it. But it's kind of funny how that works too, because like you were saying, some of these memorable finds, you could go years down the road and go right back to that spot of ground, not marked on a GPS or anything, and probably be within 10 feet of it or less, and say, yeah, I dug it right here. It was this many years ago.
Right. That's the best. Those finds are the greatest in the world. The ones you're never going to forget. The first time I dug a peace dollar, I know exactly where I was. I know exactly what the night looked like. I know exactly. I was walking back to my car at the end of like a 5-hour hunt. It was getting pitch black dark outside, and I got a beautiful 144 on the CTX 3030 over and over again, and I pulled a 1924 peace dollar out of the ground. My buddy Rob was with me, and he couldn't believe it. He was like, oh my God, it's a peace dollar. I was like, yes, it's a peace dollar. And that feeling never goes away. You're never going to lose that. That's always going to be there. The first time I dug a Spanish real, all those things. You'll always keep them with you. So.
Yeah, exactly. The finds may come and go, but the experiences, the memories, they last a lifetime. They're not going anywhere.
Right. That's why I try to tell people, like, metal detecting is not just about the treasure. Granted, yes, it's amazing to find these things. It's not just about that, though. It's the experience, that experience of, we've all wanted throughout our lives, at least as far as I know, who didn't want to dig a hole to China and find some amazing treasure in the ground? Who didn't want that? Everybody wanted that. So now we get to actually live that out. We get to be the people that are uncovering this amazing history and this amazing treasure, and it costs you time. That's it. It just costs you time.
Yeah, I mean, where else can you find a hobby like that?
Right. You're like, oh, so I need to have a machine and spend my day out in nature with good friends, and have good communication, and have just like an awesome day. I mean, some of my best days out metal detecting, we were cooking hot dogs in an old cellar hole. Like, those are the best things in the world. You're never going to forget those moments, and you're never going to forget the things that accompany them. The colonial wedding bands you find in the ground, the old cloak clasps, all that stuff. It's all connected to that day, and you'll never forget that. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's my favorite.
Kind of telling people, oh yeah, you get to be outdoors. You go out and you look for things. Yeah. It's like, oh man, you're killing me with all the cons to this.
Yeah.
I mean, the downside is just terrible.
Yeah. What a terrible downside.
Right.
Well, so there are the things. I'm sure every metal detectorist has this feeling as well. They probably know what I'm talking about. When you and your friends, you're constantly out with the same people metal detecting, and everyone does the thing where somebody screams Fugio, and you think that somebody's got a Fugio, and they don't have a Fugio, but that's the funny part of it. They don't have it.
I got
it's funny for you to hear it. But then the day comes where they do have a Fugio, and the day comes where I remember the first time I ever dug a TREME. I used to tell my friend David Pratt on a regular basis, I'm like, oh, I got a TREME. And he would run over all the way across the field to see my TREME, and it would be a wheat penny. Like, oh, it's not really a TREME. But the day that I actually dug a TREME, he was like, I'm not going over there. I don't want to go see this. This is not a TREME. I was like, no, it's really a TREME. I dug a TREME for the first time. And those are the things you're going to live with forever. Those moments, that feeling of uncovering that one thing and the memory that is attached to it. There's nothing that beats that at all. So.
Right. Yeah, I get exactly what you mean. So, how long have you been doing the Rhode Island Relics then? What
Rhode Island Relics
started?
All right, so to be very honest, and I feel like I sound like a jerk when I say this, and I don't mean to at all. I just looked at what metal detecting clubs were doing throughout the United States, throughout the UK and whatnot, and I felt there wasn't enough interaction. The first thing I did, actually, before I did the Rhode Island Relics, is I built a page called Detecting Connection, which was, for me, I wanted to be able to reach out to people because I travel a lot. So I wanted to be able to reach out to people that were all over the United States and all over the world in different places and create an atmosphere where people could communicate about metal detecting together. Like,
right.
There are times when we run out of locations. We all know it. There are times where you're going back to the same spot over and over and over again. You run out of locations, so why not be able to communicate with people all over the place to talk about Maybe you're going to Ohio. Maybe you're going to California. Maybe you're coming to Rhode Island. Maybe you're going to New Jersey. And there are people out there that you've never met that also enjoy the same hobby. They have the same obsession with uncovering history. And I just wanted people to be able to communicate with each other.
Nice.
And then, so I built Detect and Connection first, and then I wanted to represent Rhode Island because we had a large number of diggers that were living in Rhode Island, and there didn't really seem like there was anybody out there promoting the hobby, promoting the interest, and really, we're just looking for other people that also love it as much as we do. So I built the page, and then over the course of time, I think we have like close to 1,000 members now. People started following our finds, started, we never wanted to be the YouTube sensations of metal detecting or anything like that. That was never our intention. So we never did it. That's not our thing. Like, we're not into it. We're not trying to get famous. None of that stuff matters to us. What it comes down to is, do you want to come to Rhode Island and metal detect? Okay. Let us know, and we'll all go metal detecting together, because ultimately that's what we all want. We all want to just be a community of people who also enjoy the same thing. And
right.
So I sort of just built it on that premise, and Pound the Ground to me, the way that it came to be was I was seeing all these other metal detecting events, and I was participating in a lot of metal detecting events, and I hate to say it, but a lot of them were extremely expensive, and I'm leaving with 2 buffalo nickels. And I say to myself, this is not fair. This is not fair. I should not pay $65 to go to a metal detecting event and leave with 2 buffalo nickels, and the experience wasn't as wonderful as I hoped either. So I said, how do I make an event where people are going to leave with a bunch of stuff? They're going to have the ability to also win a bunch of stuff, and we will all just enjoy being together. That's what it came down to. And so I did the first Pound the Ground last April, and I did not expect it to sell out, but it sold out. And I put in a lot of effort, my own money. The first round, I had no idea what I was doing, I'll be very honest. So I just paid out of pocket for all this stuff, and I hoped to God that I would break even at the end of the event. I ended up breaking even, but people were leaving with 27 pieces of silver in their hand. They had the best time of their lives. They got a T-shirt from the event. They got all sorts of prizes. All sorts of different things happened. And this year it was like so much easier to sell tickets because people knew that they were buying into something that was worthwhile for them. And we're not a profit-making machine. We're just trying to put on an amazing event that everybody loves. And this year, I think we blew it out of the water. I was smarter about the finances, and I took care of all the major silver and all that stuff first and foremost, because I want to make sure that people are leaving with tons of silver. That's what they need to leave with in order to be happy. And, their shirt and raffle prizes and all sorts of amazing things and equipment and, providing the CTX 3030, Equinox 800, Equinox 600, a Go Find for the kids, pinpointers, coils, shovels, sand scoops, everything under the sun. And some things we had to purchase outright. We didn't get donated, but it doesn't matter because people are going to leave happy and they're going to be like, this is the best event ever. And that's all I care about. That is truly the only thing I care about. They leave happy. I leave happy, and that's it. That's it.
And it seems like you have had a number of people, because I've seen the post, I've even shared it myself, where you took some time putting that post together. There's a number of people tagged in that post that have even donated items to the event.
Oh my God, we have this year. I can't even count how many amazing donations we got. We've really turned it into this major local event. I mean, Rhode Island is a small state, so we reached out to everyone we could possibly reach out to. This guy on my team, Scott Disnard, the guy is amazing. He truly, like, he reached out to every person under the sun that was not even willing to donate immediately, and he just convinced them this is the event you want to be a part of, because it's not a profit-making machine. Like, we don't make money from the event, even though people would love to think that we do. We don't. We'll break even if we're lucky. But the truth is, it spreads the name about Rhode Island Relics. It talks about metal detecting as a hobby, getting more people interested. Everybody leaves happy, and we all get to communicate. That's what it comes down to. That's the best feeling in the world, when people can share their finds and we can all be connected and realize this is what we're doing the metal detecting for. We want to see what other people are finding. We want to make sure that people are leaving happy. All of this stuff matters. We're a community of people that should be all over the face of the planet the way people are running these events. You shouldn't just be charging a ridiculous amount of money and people leaving with nothing. It's not fair.
Yeah, this sounds a lot like some of the founding blocks of the Penguin Dig.
Absolutely. The Penguin Dig is incredible. And the true story is, like, so Doug Bowden, who runs the Penguin Dig, he's a good buddy of mine. We've done a lot of hunting together. He's really been an awesome influence. Our events are very different because his event is free. People bring a raffle prize, but they all leave very happy as well. Everyone is exchanging something, and it's such a great thing for them. I wanted to approach it a little bit differently. And our event, we're not free, so everything is right. There's a cost to everything. But if people really think about it, the amount of money that we spend on making T-shirts, doing the marketing, getting all the prizes, you don't get them all donated. Machines, you have to pay for those. Like, I'm a dealer and I still have to buy machines for my own event. That's just how it works. Your accessories, your equipment, your coils, all that stuff, lots of Amazon purchases, your food, all those things come into consideration when you're talking about your event. And the reality is, people are going to go home with tons of silver. They're going to go home with coins that are worth $400 or $50 or $75 or however much money it is. They're all going home happy. So if they spent $75 on a ticket, they get free food, they get a T-shirt, they get a free raffle ticket to win the door prize, they get the chance to win a $2,500 machine or a $900 machine or whatever else. We did it a little bit different, but I think that it's really exciting for people because we asked people this year, we said, would you like to have prizes that correlate to things you find in the ground, or do you want to purchase raffle tickets? They did a poll, and it was without a question, people wanted to do raffles. That's just, people feel like they have a better chance to win things. It's more exciting for them. I mean, I don't know. I go to a casino, I put a $10 bill in the slot machine. That's exciting for me. I want to see what I'm going to win. You never know what it's going to be, but some people are not as confident with their metal detecting ability. Maybe they're brand new. Maybe they're beginners, and they're like, I don't know if I'm going to find the thing that correlates to this $2,500 prize. So they said, yeah, no, we want to do raffles. We base it on everything the community wants to do. We didn't do anything based on our own ideas. We asked everybody specifically what they wanted to do, and that's what we do. We go with that.
So how many people attended last year?
Last year, I think it was about 150 adult detectorists and a bunch of kids. We didn't count the kids. I don't know, but there was a lot. This year, there's going to be 300 plus people altogether.
Wow.
We've got 200 adult detectorists are coming, plus a bunch of kids. plus a bunch of guests. So we're going to have 300 plus people there this year. The thing is, you're not eligible to win certain things unless you've purchased a ticket to the event. So people know, and they should know, we are not selling raffle tickets to people unless they are participating in the event. They're not getting raffle tickets. It's just not going to work that way. The people that paid to be there deserve to win the prizes. People that didn't want to will not have access to that.
Nice. Well, I can relate with that. That's because then, you're kind of, these people chose to pay to attend, and so this is kind of our way of thanking them for their support. They are eligible. Exactly. You are not.
Exactly. And some people aren't happy about it, but the truth is we don't really care. If you paid to participate in the event, then you deserve to win something. You deserve to find something.
Or at least to have that opportunity.
Right. If you're a guest, you're not able to participate in the raffles. So when people say it's all about making money, I'm like, believe me, we could make a lot more money if we wanted to. We do not want to make the money. We want to break even if we're lucky and make sure that everybody has the best possible time ever. So that's it. That's what it comes down to.
And when does this event go off then for people who are wondering or maybe it's all sold out this time around and they're going to mark on their calendar, hey, next year I need to keep an eye on these guys.
We actually do have some tickets available. We have people coming from all over the place. We have people coming from California, Alabama, New Mexico, Maine, Washington, Oregon, like everywhere. People are coming from. We have people coming from Argentina. We have people coming from Brazil.
Wow.
It's a big deal. I don't know how it happened. We're honestly confused by it as well, but it's apparently become a big deal to people. So there are a lot of people coming from all over the place. Tickets are $75. The tickets include a T-shirt. We only have until the end of this upcoming week to provide the T-shirt company with the amount of T-shirts we need. So if people don't purchase them by the end of this coming week, we cannot promise them a shirt for the event because there's a specific amount of time where they can make them. So we tried to tell people we got an extension. I talked to the printing company and they said, we will absolutely do this for you. Thank you so much, because we kept it local. Everything was local. So we kept it local businesses, and just helping the market in Rhode Island. So they said, yeah, sure, we'll give you an extension. So if people want to purchase a ticket, we still have tickets available, but at the end of next week, they will not be able to get a shirt unless they order now. Like within this time, they cannot get a shirt. They will not get an event shirt. So,
Wow.
We're trying to do what we can, but I mean, you can only do so much.
Right, definitely. And where can they find information for this then? If
they go to
page or...
Well, they can go to Rhode and look on our events form there, and they'll see the event there, and they can purchase tickets there, or they can go to facebook.com /RI, like Rhode Island, Relics, RELICS. And they can see all the information there. There's plenty of posts, and they'll see a bunch of the stuff that we have that we're donating for the event. They can see all the coins and stuff that I pulled out of my own collection to donate to the event. The amount of silver we have, not just silver. I mean, we have so much amazing stuff. I mean, we have colonial coppers like nobody's business. We literally have everything under the sun. I couldn't imagine anybody going home unhappy. I donated all the jewelry I've ever found. I've donated everything. I've got a gold nugget going in the ground. Everything you could possibly imagine, I'm donating to the event. Not to mention all the silver and coins we've purchased for the event. We've got tons of Morgan dollars, tons of peace dollars, barber halves, seated halves. I mean, it just goes on and on. We have so much stuff. So much stuff.
Wow.
And it takes place April 13th in Cumberland, Rhode Island, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We ask that people show up at 8 o'clock, and they bring their printed tickets so we can get registration done as soon as possible. That's the longest part. The registration is the toughest part because we give away goodie bags that also include their T-shirt. Their T-shirt is a specific size, so we have to make sure the tickets come in. We collect the tickets. People hand in their waivers for liability insurance purposes. All those things, they got to get there. They got to get it done as soon as possible, and then the field will be open at 9 o'clock to start metal detecting, and we will take a break for lunch. We're providing free food for lunch. We will stop metal detecting at 12 o'clock. So people will metal detect from 9 to 12. We will stop at 12. We will make sure everybody is off the field. People are enjoying their lunches. We will do some raffling and whatever else may happen. After that time, after the small lunch break, they'll go back into the field and they'll be able to metal detect until 3 o'clock. Then they'll come back to the tables where we're going to do the huge raffles. We're going to give away our grand prizes and things of that nature.
Wow. So they don't, for some people who may not want to stop and eat because they're going, oh, well, I don't want to pass up the chance of missing something. Everybody's off the field. So it's not like they're missing out.
Yeah, they cannot continue to metal detect. I know some people are happy about it. Some people are unhappy about it. The reality is it's not fair for people to pay the same amount of money to be on the field when other people are not on the field and they're losing. It's just not fair. So what we said was we're going to do a lunch break. The lunch break will probably last about a half an hour because people want to get back out into the field. So we're going to do a lunch break for a half an hour to 45 minutes. After the lunch break is done, people can go back out into the field, but we will literally be calling everybody in with a megaphone and saying, come on in, get off the field. You're not allowed to be on the field right now. We're doing lunch break. And we learned from last year. We had lunch break last year, and people were complaining that if they came to eat food, they were missing out on some of the silver in the ground. So we learned from last year. We said, no. This year, everybody's eating lunch at the same time. That's it. There's no question about it. We're going to get it done. And we've got Brian Heath donated a massive hot dog cart for us. So we're going to have that, and everything's going to be fully accessible, and chips and drinks and whatnot. And we're just going to hand it out as people come up, and it'll go quick and smooth, and people will get back out on the field together at the same time. And we're going to do detectors in the air and blow the siren, and everybody will start again.
Nice. Definitely a good way to have it set up then.
Yeah.
Nothing
we
wrong
thought
with
it all
that.
out this year. Yeah, no, we learned from our mistakes last year. Although the event was amazing last year, we learned from it. We certainly did.
Nice. Definitely. And I assume then that this is just, like you were saying, this is an online registration form, basically, that they're going to print out, they're going to bring in, all of that. But then that also helps you guys to track things, too, so you know who's attending.
Well, this year we went through the Eventbrite website. Last year I had to do it all manually, and it was a nightmare. I mean, trying to keep track of every single person's T-shirt size and all sorts of stuff. Like, it was just too much. So this year, we actually paid Eventbrite to handle all of that for our event. So it was a pain. It is what it is. You got to pay them a big fat chunk of money to handle the event, but it needed to happen because last year I was like, oh my God, how many large shirts do I need? How many extra large shirts do I need? What am I going to do? I don't know. And I was freaking out the entire time. This time, I have someone else handling it for me. So I know exactly what T-shirt sizes I need. I know exactly who's printed their tickets and who hasn't. And if anybody's listening to this right now that has purchased a Pound the Ground ticket, please print your tickets. We will not accept anything other than tickets at the door.
Good
we
point.
had an issue with it last year. You know, people brought their license and you're like, we're not keeping track of your name. We need to know that you've registered for the event. So this year, Eventbrite handles all of it. If anyone purchased a ticket from Eventbrite, they need to print their tickets, and that's it.
Nice. Okay.
This way we know they're capable of being at the event, and that's it, you know? A license won't cut it.
Right, so they've got to make sure they bring proper documentation.
Right. And they need to make sure a week before the event we'll release the liability waiver, and that needs to be signed as well before anybody can participate in the event. And if people don't want to sign the liability waiver, we will refund them entirely for their purchase.
Oh, nice. Well, you can't beat that then.
No, we're just covering ourselves and the town for any sort of liability issue. If somebody gets hurt at the event or anything like that, we don't want to have that burden on us, and I certainly don't want to have it on the town, who has been so supportive of letting us use this historic farm and whatnot. So we're telling people if they want to participate, they've got to sign the waiver, and if they don't sign the waiver, we'll give them a refund at the door.
Very nice. Good way to do it, definitely.
Yeah.
And it sounds like then your event has doubled, actually more than doubled probably, for this year. Are we hoping that it will double again for next year?
Well, the thing is that we've got to keep it, our major thing is we are utilizing this particular farm because it's Rhode Island based. They're wonderful. What they do with their 4-H farm is incredible. They grow food for people that are impoverished. They give food to people that need it. Healthy, holistic fruit and vegetables, things of that nature. So, you know, we want to continue to utilize this farm. We can expand, but there are a lot of things to consider when expanding. This year we were planning on using both sides of the road, and we ended up realizing it was going to cost a ridiculous amount of money to pay the police detail to do that. So instead of using both sides of the road, there's a creek, and we decided we're going to go on the opposite side of the creek and extend all the way down to the end of the field so that everybody still had the amount of space that we promised. And if we expand next year, we're going to have to be able to figure out this police detail situation. It's $44.70 an hour per officer, and they need to be there for the entire event. So it's a big chunk of change. So, you know, it's a lot of stuff to consider. And the reality is, I don't want to have too many people participating, because then it gets harder for everybody to go home happy. If we keep raising the price, it's different, but I don't want to raise the price. I don't want to continue raising the price for people to, you know, have the benefit of being there. We're not looking to make money. We're looking to make sure everyone goes home happy. So if we do consider utilizing the same area next year, you know, we'll have a lot of things to think about. We're definitely going to do Pound the Ground 3 next year. It's nonstop at this rate. We love the event so much, we're just never going to stop doing it. So, you know, I guess we'll see at that time if we can expand and make it bigger for people, or if it's best to just keep it the way it is.
Nice. Well, that makes perfect sense. Definitely. And I was hoping to get that all out of the way there. That way people did know where to find you and everything, because we have had a few people trying to call in that I wasn't sure if I was going to attempt that experiment, but I guess we will try to get one of those calls back in here and see what we can do here, if we can connect with them, and they may have some questions for you. So if I happen to inadvertently cut you off, I will try to get you back on there. So we'll see what happens here.
Okay. No problem.
Hopefully, we've been able to... I do believe, I think we've got them, maybe.
Hello.
Ah, we do. Okay. How's it going, Chuck? I know you've been trying to call in, so I've been trying to get you
I tried a couple
here.
times, and I think Barb tried, and we thought maybe you were screening calls on us.
Well, I've got a lot of stuff going on my screen that I'm still trying to jump through some hoops and loopholes and stuff like that I've had some...
Oh, Mark said maybe there were some updates going on of some kind.
Yeah.
So that's all right. No big deal. The hunt sounds like it ought to be fantastic. I mean, he's got a great format going there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Like
yeah, a lot of work in those hunts. I sympathize with you. You go through some nerve-wracking times, and T-shirts are the hardest thing to deal with because people don't always mark them right or change their minds when they see the size of them, and you kind of get stuck around there with it. So I think caps are better.
Yeah, no, believe me, we thought about it this year. We were like, maybe we should just do hats.
Yeah.
Truth is, the T-shirts are a huge part of why people want to go to the event. Every year, people ask for the T-shirts. You know, what's going on with the T-shirts? And we have an amazing designer who does such a wonderful job with the T-shirts.
Cool.
So, we just stuck with him, and we did it so that now people can't change their order the day of the event. We said, nope, you're registered for these T-shirts beforehand, so if they don't fit, that's their own fault.
That's right. Well, you know, the last hunt we had last year, my lab stepped up and gave everybody an Equinox shirt for the hunt. And that was really
that's
nice.
right.
Yep, they did.
Well, Mind Lab is they're sponsoring the event. I work for Mind Lab, so they're sponsoring the event. They're giving away a bunch of T-shirts, hats, backpacks, gloves, everything under the sun. They're wonderful. They're giving away some machines as well. Like, they're fantastic. So I don't think anybody's going to be unhappy. They'll all leave with a T-shirt no matter what, at least. So.
Well, my lab's always been pretty good about that. I've been with them for a long time. And they've been pretty good about it. They backed off a bit here this past couple of years because it was getting to be rather expensive, but I think they're trying to step back up to the plate a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think with the Equinox sales, they're going to be just fine.
Right.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So
how long have you been detecting?
I want to say about six years now. Not very long compared to a lot of the people that are in the metal detecting world, but, you know, I've been obsessed with it as soon as it happened, you know. I've had a lot of people say, I've been detecting for 25 years. I haven't found a gold coin yet. And I want to feel bad for it, but I can't because I'm like, well, I've been, you know, I spent every single day metal detecting after work and after taking care of my twin babies. I did everything I could possibly do to be metal detecting. So I've been at it die hard for about that long, and it's not going anywhere. I love it so much. It's my favorite thing in the world, besides my kids, obviously.
That's great. And I heard you started with a bounty hunter. Which one?
Right.
Did you find much with it?
I found some things with it. I didn't really know what I was looking for, honestly. I was not really big into metal detecting at the time. I didn't know about any coinage. I didn't know about that stuff. So I did pull a barber, though, and that's what got me stuck with metal detecting forever. I pulled a barber quarter out of the ground at a 1709 home. I remember it was in Cumberland, Rhode Island. I pulled a bar recorder out of this guy's yard in a 1709 home, and that was it. It was game over from there. And then I just kept expanding on my machines and my knowledge about metal detecting, and I just became completely obsessed with it. And that was it.
Very good. Very good. That's back in the day when I started with an old Coinmaster 4, and you continually try to upgrade and find things and move forward, but you made a very good choice going to CTX 3030. That's my go-to machine. And
right.
I worked in lab and went around and trained dealers on that machine as they were first coming out, and it was a lot of fun, and that's still my go-to, but I have the Equinox, and I use other machines too, and if I'm out east looking relics in Virginia and some of those places, I generally I'm using pulse induction, GPS.
Yeah. That's what my buddy Rob does a lot of, my thing is, like, I just got so used to the CTX 3030 now that it is my go-to at all times. And I know there are other machines out there, the Equinox, those machines are fantastic, and all the guys in my group are fantastic. They do wonderful things with those machines, but for me, like I was talking about earlier, I'm obsessed with the CTX 3030. That is my go-to. That's my baby. This is my fourth one. Even though I have the MS and it's tough for me to swing it, I'll still keep it and I'll still use it on a regular basis because I love it. I just love the machine so much.
Well, the Nox is an excellent machine. I won't put it down. I've been using one. I've had great luck with it. And I've compared the 3030 to the Nox on grid areas and went back in with the 3030, and the 3030 depth and what I hear out of it is phenomenal, and it doesn't beat that 3030.
Yeah, no. Like I was saying earlier, I think, the Equinox series it's amazing. It's amazing. Absolutely, no question. But, I don't think it can beat the CTX, and everyone says, oh no, it's like the best machine ever. And I really do love the machine, but, I don't know. I'm so crystal clear sure of what I'm digging out of the ground with my CTX 3030 that I don't even consider it. It's nothing I worry about. I don't have to dig a 16,
on your 3030, and I've experienced it when you have like a 09, 12, those type of numbers down low. It's generally your higher carat jewelry gold. And if you're passing those up, especially in areas that may be prone to having jewelry around, you're making a mistake.
A big one.
Yes, a real big one, Josh.
Earlier, I dug a 22 karat gold ruby ring not very long ago. That came up as a 509 on the CTX 3030. These are signals that my friends with their machines, granted, the Equinox is a fantastic machine, they skipped over these signals. They're not digging those signals. For some weird reason, they're not digging them. For me, I am completely confident that if I go over something with a CTX 3030 and it's a repeated signal, especially coming in with that 09 or anything like that, I'm going to dig it. I'm going to dig it all day. And that was one of the most beautiful rings I ever dug out of the ground,
Excellent. That's always fun. I can tell you, I've gotten a couple gold coins with the 3030, and they read different than your high level jewelry gold. They read the last. I got a 1913 $5 gold piece here not terribly long ago, and it read 0530, 0534. It just bounced back and forth, and that's what it was. And they read differently, but high quality jewelry reads extremely low.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, don't forget that though. You never know what it's going to be, but when you get that signal that's a little bit different than the other signals, that it's going to give you something amazing. You're like, I don't know what this is, but I know it's going to be something awesome. I love that feeling.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, and with your MS, Do you find, I heard you talking about you slow down quite a bit in that. Do you find, in MS treats, it's a different form with different people. Do you have some walking instability or anything like that?
If you ask any of the guys from Rhode Island Relics or Awesome Relics New England or any of the people that I do a lot of metal detecting with, they always make sure to follow me because they know I'm gonna fall down. They started telling me I need to wear a helmet because they're nervous that I'm going to smash my head on a rock and things of that nature. So it certainly is. It's pretty tough. It's not as easy as it was when I started. I definitely cannot metal detect as long as I used to, although I will push myself. I just can't do what I used to be able to do. But, I love it so much, I can't stop doing it. So, and I really do think it's helping me with my MS because I'm continuously staying out in nature. I'm surrounded by things I love. I'm continuing to find treasure, and I'm still pushing myself at least to be out there and hike a few miles and find old cellar holes and just keep at it. I'm not giving up,
Never give up.
It is truly therapy.
Yeah, I mean, it's therapy. It's when I finally get frustrated with a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on, I'll grab the detectors and I just take off. And that's my walk away from it, go do it, enjoy what I find. I don't care if that particular moment I'm only finding zinc pennies. I'm having a good time and I'm settling down.
Right? I agree with that in every way, shape, or form. Like, yes, it's wonderful to go out there and find some amazing new treasure or whatever, but for me, it's really just being out anywhere.
Getting out and doing it and enjoying it and putting your research, and if you've done that to work and getting out and away and throwing the phone. And many times I don't carry a camera. I'm like you. Yeah. I've done some YouTube stuff. I'm not good at it, but I've done it. And type of stuff and post pictures of a few finds and things like that. But I'll leave the camera behind simply because I don't want to be encumbered. I'm not worried about anybody else. I'm just out enjoying myself. And that's a good way to do it. And it's a good mindset for you. And it gets you away from thinking about what may be bothering you with MS.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
Yep. And Josh and you guys, I salute you both for working through some problems and staying with it. That's great. And I love taking kids with me, and I've got some neighbor kids that I've picked up, and we go out and I just let them dig. They don't have expectations. They don't have to go out today and say, I've got to find one of my bucket listers, or I've got to find silver. A nail, a zinc penny, to them it's treasure. They don't care.
Yeah, they're happy to find anything. They think it's all cool.
Yep, it's all cool.
I have 3-year-old twins, and every day they say they can't wait till they're old enough to go metal detecting with Daddy. And that is going to be the best part of my life, is just taking those kids out metal detecting with me. And they, now they will drive by old walls and they'll go, Daddy, walls, Daddy, old walls. They know what I'm looking for, and they're going to be just as obsessed with it as I am. And I'm really looking forward to that. And you're right. Kids don't have any care. They could find a pull tab in the ground, and that to them is fun and exciting. And that's, I think that's what we all need to keep in our hearts when we're out metal detecting, is that you're there doing it because you love it. Who cares what it is you find? Granted, it's fantastic to find old treasure. It's just as wonderful to be able to be out there in nature and just enjoy yourself and enjoy your time alone or with good company. You know what I mean?
And friends or family or kids.
Right.
There's two things I go by. Number one, there's a little bit of a kid left in us all the time. And going out and digging in the dirt's a blast, and there's a little bit of a pirate left in us we're a bit of a pirate all the time out there anyway. So you're finding your treasure, you're being a kid again, you're getting to dig in the dirt, And it used to be when I started out, people kind of viewed you as like, guy's out digging pennies, he's crazy, and so on and so forth. There's evolved in with what we see on YouTube and what we see on television, and the people that are involved in it, and the growth of it has been phenomenal. But everybody has expectations. They put too much drama into it. I see too much drama on the Facebook crap, and they're mad at this guy or that. There's no reason to be mad. Just go out and do your thing, man. Have a good time and show what you find, and let's get along.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, let's just be glad to be able to get out there.
Right.
That's right.
Nothing ruins metal detecting more for me than the idea of the competition between people needing to find something before someone else, or they found something better than someone else, because the truth is, I don't care about that. When I'm out with my good friends and they're finding amazing treasure in the ground, I'm saluting them. I'm saying, this is amazing that you found that. I'm not upset about it. It's the greatest thing in the world.
You're happy for each other. I've got a great friend out here in Iowa. We hunt together, and I went with him to some spots out there that he's hunted and hunted and hunted. And the one day we were out, and we were at this old home out central Iowa, and he said, I've hunted the daylights out of this, but Chuck, there's got to be more in here. I said, let's go. And we took off, and I was in, and I think outside the box, and when I look at a spot, and I crawled down under some old lilacs and that, and I got a signal down under there. And I got a banging signal, and I pulled a gold pocket watch out with the strap, with the fob on it, and the fob said Dad, and I went, oh my God, and I sat there, and Dave was looking at me from a distance. He says, I can see in your face you found something. I said, yeah. What did you find? I said, well, it's gold. Oh, I won't repeat what he was telling me at the time, but he was laughing, and I walked over with a full pocket watch.
Right.
And he was more happy. You would have thought he found it. He's over there. We got it washing the dirt off and cleaning it up. And he goes, my God, would you look at this? That is fantastic. And he goes, he was happy for me, but I'm walking around going, I just found a gold watch on one of your old sites, man. I mean, I'm kind of like, oh boy.
That's when you know you've got some good hunting buddies.
Yeah,
right.
And Dave is, and we hunt quite a bit together, and we research some stuff. But he found a 1793 in Iowa flowing hair scent.
Wow.
And I couldn't have been more happier. And right 2 inches from it, or 2 foot from it, excuse me, it was an 1818 large scent. And I looked at him, he said, these weren't deep. They aren't that terribly deep. I said, look, Dave, I said, how deep? 4 or 5 inches. I said, the grounds are different. And he and I have argued for years over, he thought some kid got in a dad's coin collection and lost them. No. I said, you got the second year of our mint, large scent in Iowa, but it's up in the northeast corner where the French were at when they were exploring the river. And I said, it could very well have been from that era. And you found them. So, we've had some great times together, but that was a heck of a find. You're talking about your Fugios and your coppers. We do come across some of that stuff here in the Midwest. Further south, I get into reals. I found some reals down there and pillar dollar and things like that. And so we research it, and that's how we come across it. So out there, you guys get on a site. Anywhere you go out there has the likelihood of having that stuff, like a George. My bucket list, I want a George Washington button.
Yeah. That's mine. That's my bucket list.
Yeah, and we've got one guy that I'm friends with, Dave Weiss. I don't know how many he's found, but he's always digging them up.
Dave Weiss, man. He's a killer metal detectorist, man.
Oh, he finds those. I just shake my head and he rubs it in. So it's a lot of fun. Well, congratulations on staying with it and doing well. And I hope your hunt goes well. It sounds like a great gathering out there in Rhode Island. And I'm going to get out of here because it's starting to run a little late on Josh here. And,
all right.
And hopefully maybe one day I'll get to come out to one of those hunts. I'm trimming back on some of the things I'm doing over this next year on one side of it, but I'm going to continue to be in the detector business and that kind of stuff. But some of the things I've got to trim back a little bit. I'm just too busy all the time for being
Well,
retired.
we'd love to have you out anytime. It would be fantastic to do some hunting outside of the metal detecting event as well.
Oh, that would be grand. That would be absolutely grand. So
Yeah,
take care of
so
yourself.
anytime you want, you let me know, reach out to me, because I love to travel. I have no problem going out to Iowa. I got
There
no
you
problem.
go. Right. Well, this spring everybody may have trouble going to Iowa if the snow melt occurs. We're going to be waiting. So everywhere. There are already parts of it is. So anyway, but later on, maybe we can make that happen. Josh,
Sounds
you have a
great
good
to
night.
me.
All right,
Have a
we'll
great
see you,
night.
Chuck.
All right, buddy. Take care.
You too. And I'll try to work in one more real quick before we get out of here and see if I can pull this off again. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Maybe we can. Yep, we got him. How's it going, Fred?
Hey, Josh, how's it going? I've been listening to the whole show, and I have to say Nathan has the most contagious enthusiasm of any guest I think you've ever had on there.
He is very enthusiastic and contagious. I'll give him that.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
And, no, you have a wonderful attitude. How long have you been dealing with the MS issue?
Now I've been diagnosed for just before I started metal detecting, so almost 6 years now, and I have 43 lesions on my brain and my spinal column.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
And,
but you know what? You know what though? They're there, but I pretend they're not there. That's the best way to deal with it.
Right.
Well, yeah, if that's all you can do,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Just live with it and, just keep going on and, whatever happens, happens. I don't have any control over it, but what I do have control over is the life I live now. So I enjoy metal detecting. I love it so much that it's just my life. It keeps me motivated. My kids keep me motivated, and, I can't really complain. I'm doing fantastic, and I'm sure Josh can tell you, as far as looking at me, somebody with progressive MS, I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm using all my limbs, I'm doing everything I'm supposedly not supposed to be able to do. So I'm good. I'm fine. I'm just going to keep doing whatever I'm doing.
There you go.
Well, that's terrific. I think your attitude probably is a substantial part of your ability to get around and deal with your illness.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, Josh can talk about that too. I mean, you can give up with something or you can just push through it, and you're doing a great job. And it sounds like a wonderful event you have going there, and that's done on farm fields, not on any kind of beaches, right? Not on sand.
Yeah, no, it's farm fields, and like the properties for the area anyway is extremely historic. So this year, obviously, we're going to utilize some of the same land that we used last year. And last year we didn't uncover all of the silver, so there's still silver from last year in the ground.
Yeah,
And,
you're like you're going to find it every year probably.
And
So-
since it is a farm field, there's always that chance of a natural find as well.
Right.
Yeah,
and
of
this
course,
year
yeah.
we're utilizing a part of the field that's untouched. It's beyond the creek on the other side. That's untouched as far as we know. And if anybody has done any metal detecting there, which I doubt, very, very limited, because it's all sort of like an uphill thing. It's very UK-like, So we're planting all along that area. We're utilizing hundreds of acres of land. So no matter what, people are going to be working for their silver and their gold, but they're going to find it.
Yeah, it sounds like there would be a distinct possibility of finding some natural finds too. But I've never, like I've told Josh before, I'm not real big on seeded hunts, but I like going up to the bone dig because we dig natural fields as much as we can, I guess, as much as there's left up there. But it sounds like my club down here in New Jersey puts on an event in May. This year they're calling it X Marks the Spot because it's the 10th year they've had it. But they do it on the Jersey Shore on the beach.
Yeah.
A two-day event. But, it's a tremendous amount of work. And, the Rhode Island Relic, is that your club that you're involved in?
Yeah, that's
Is it a club? Okay.
Well, so it sort of it's a mix of both. So I started it really, as I was saying earlier, I started it really for people throughout Rhode Island to connect with each other that also had a passion for metal detecting. And it just sort of expanded because, we have met up with people who metal detect all over the United States and some amazing people out in the UK and whatever. So it just started to grow. We do have a Rhode Island Relics club page, which is exclusively for people who are actually part of the club. And that's just our own private club that meets monthly and, we do things like that. But ultimately, Rhode Island Relics to us is just a name. We're a group of people who love to metal detect throughout the state of Rhode Island, and we wanted to be able to represent that, and that's all it really came down to. We're the only group I know of anyways around here. We don't charge for a club membership. We don't charge for anything. We literally are just like, if you like to metal detect, reach out to us, and we will all work together to find some great locations to do some metal detecting together. And that's what it comes down to. That's it. We're all just about it for the passion of metal detecting.
Well, that's great. That's why anybody should be involved in a club. I mean, people go for all different reasons, just to hobnob with other people. But for me, belonging to the club, if we can find some good places through the club that I couldn't find myself to metal detect, that's what it's all about, in my opinion. Anyway.
Right.
But
Makes it all worthwhile.
Right.
Yeah, I had an interesting historical story to tell you. I went to a St. Patty's Day party yesterday at my wife's church, and one of our members, his last name is Green with an E at the end. And I was talking to him, and I said, I want to go to Gettysburg. And he says, oh, my great-grandfather was one of the generals there, and they have a statue of him. And his name was George Sears Green. And he commanded Culp's Hill, which was a really strategic point of the whole battle. Like the Confederates were trying to get this hill, and they were fighting off and everything. So then I did I was Googling his name and stuff. Turns out that he's related also to Nathaniel Green, who came from Rhode Island.
Nathaniel Green!
Yeah, like George Washington's right-hand man or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy I've known for years has got this lineage that goes back over these warrior generals, and it was really amazing to find that out. I have to talk to him some more. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know this guy was in Vietnam and stuff, so he's got the warrior gene, definitely.
Right, it runs in the family, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with that kind of background, and you're definitely suited for it, I guess. But I found that so interesting, just talking on historical level. I didn't want to interject.
All over Rhode Island, we've got Nathaniel Green everything.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Green is a huge part of Rhode Island.
Right. From what I read, he came from a line that's where the whole Green Line started in Rhode Island. But they were like one of the first people that went against the British Crown or something, And was there a Battle of Rhode Island?
Yes, there's a Battle of Rhode Island. We also had the King Philip's War here. Parts of the King Philip's War took place here. All sorts of stuff. The benefit of living in Rhode Island is there is history everywhere. Like everywhere you go.
Yeah,
and
step out your door, throw a stone.
I try to tell people. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Did you ever find? I know the Indians were taking the old pots and making arrows out of them. Kettle points.
Kettle points.
You know what? I've never found an arrowhead. I've been looking. Believe me.
I've never found one either.
I've never found a dang arrowhead, and I've been looking all over the place, and I'm in all the best spots to find them, and I don't find them.
Yeah, that's an acquired skill. I have a friend who's found hundreds of them, and I want him to take me out and let me find my first arrowhead. It's like guide me through it. He just knows where to look, and
really got to like be able to see it. Like I don't know what it is. I don't have the ability to do it, but there's a guy, Flint Maynock. If you ever are on Instagram and you want to check someone out that finds incredible arrowheads, his name's Flint Maynock on Instagram. You got to see what this guy pulls out. Every video he has, you look at the ground, it looks just like a big pile of rocks, and you don't see anything. And then all of a sudden, he's pulling out the most beautiful arrowhead of all time. You're just like, come on, man.
I know. We're looking at the ground all the time, detecting.
Yeah.
We're always looking down. But and I'm always, if I'm in a field or something, I'm always constantly looking for them. But I just don't have the eye for it. I'm convinced.
Right.
It's like, that guy can just see the shape and it pops into his brain, and he's got,
right.
I thought it would be interesting to make a detector that had a little optical scanner on the bottom that would pick up the shape of it. So as you're detecting over the field, beep, 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 beep. Oh, it's an arrowhead.
Yeah.
That'd be a great little side benefit. Somebody should invent that. Yeah.
I just want one arrowhead. That's it.
Me too.
I just need one.
That's how I feel. I feel like incomplete without, because I'm living in New Jersey. We have tons of Indian, villages here and everything. And my friend was finding, but I just haven't, same frustration that you're talking about. But
we'll get one. We'll get one day.
Yeah,
sooner or later.
Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it up to your event, but I wish you the greatest success with it. It sounds like you're really on track to have a wonderful year. I mean, after you're doubling your attendance, so I hope the weather's with you. What happens if it rains?
We're the kind of group where we don't care if it rains. We're still
rain or shine.
Rain or shine. Just
because
bring
the truth is, people are coming from all over the United States. Some people are coming from the UK. We have people coming from Argentina, from Brazil. They're not going to want a rain date. You know what I mean? They're not going to show up and say, we'll just wait for a rain date. So we say rain or shine no matter what. We know it's not going to snow or at least we hope. Oh my God, it would be terrible.
Right, watch it. Yeah, it just snowed in Ohio today for some odd reason.
Oh, did it? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but it won't last.
I'm done with snow. I'm really done with it. But you guys had a vicious winter out there with those sub-zero temperatures and everything. We never got hit with that in New Jersey. So it was pretty mild here, actually, as far as the winters go. And you guys had a vicious one, from what I saw on the news reports and everything. And now there's a lot of flooding in certain parts of the Midwest. So it's always something. But so Nathan, I wish you the greatest success, and wonderful to listen to you and share your enthusiasm. And
thank you.
Josh is a great guest, and I'll be listening, and I'll let you. I know you're getting toward the end of your show anyway. I don't want to keep you too late, both you guys. But good luck with everything.
Well, thank you so much, man.
Yes, it was really good talking to you, and I'll continue listening to the end of the show. I'll say good night.
Have a good night, man.
All right, good night.
Thanks for the call, Fred.
Thank you.
All right. Well, is there because like he says, we have kind of ran on here. We've had you on for a while. Is there anything else?
Sorry, I talk a lot.
Oh, no, that's fine. That is definitely more than all right. But is there anything else that you would like to add before we go?
No, just honestly, I say the same thing to everybody that's out there, that if there's anybody listening that is starting to metal detect and haven't, found their way with it yet, I promise you, stick it out. It is the greatest thing that will ever happen to you. The obsession in finding history in the ground is so wonderful. Just do it. It doesn't matter if you got a bounty hunter. It doesn't matter if you got, some yard sale metal detector. If it beeps and it finds things in the ground, I promise you, you will not be disappointed.
Right, yeah, just keep at it. It will come. You will make good finds.
Right. We will eventually make them.
Right. If it's that, even if it's like that GW, sooner or later, you'll get your coil over it.
Right. As you keep putting the time and the effort in, you're going to find it eventually.
Absolutely. I would agree. Definitely. Well, hang in there with me for a minute, Nathan. I got one more clip to roll and we'll get on out of here.
All right.
So for everyone else, definitely, Nathan Matthews, Rhode Island Relics, Pound the Ground. 2, actually, since this is their second one. But look forward to 3 and 4 and 5 and on and on and on. We've been on here for a while, so we're going to have to roll. But for everyone else, make sure and check out our friends at Shooters and Prospectors, Extreme Scoops, XP Team USA, DETECTEES.com, Ken and Mark, Darth and Buddy. Like I said, they're doing a great job with the Beyond Sight and Sound apparel, and we appreciate everything they do. And while you're at it, check out Rhode Island Relics as well as Dirt Pirates Detecting. And I think that covers all of the links that we had to mention. So, can't, not saying you have to go home, but we can't stay here. So as we roll on out of here, folks, make sure and smash that like button on the way out. You can follow us on Spreaker, Facebook, and many of the other wonderful distribution podcast services that are out there. Have a wonderful evening, folks.